Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about base numbers. The concepts of base numbers have always been around. However, it has taken many centuries to develop them as to what we know them to be today. The basic principles of counting go back as far as the ancient centuries. The people of these time periods learned to count on their fingers as their main technique for counting. However, as time went on, they learned to use different materials to help them count, such as marbles or any objects that they could find that would help them visualize and group things together. These people were using cardinal numbers. Cardinal numbers are basic numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc., going as high as you want. They're just numbers. Cardinal numbers are really great to use in everyday situations. The only problem is when you get into the trillions, it's hard and it takes up a lot of space and it gets really confusing to write 1 trillion in a math problem. This is why ordinal numbers were created. Ordinal numbers are numbers represented by symbols. This has led to the Roman numeral. Roman numerals are symbols that represent numbers. Every letter stands for a number. However, this process still wasn't efficient enough when it came to infinitive numbers. This led to base numbers. Base numbers made hard problems easier. Here is the whole layout of the progression of the counting system. So now that we have discussed a little bit about the background of base numbers, it's time to get into the base numbers themselves. We've actually been using base numbers our whole lives. The most common base number is base 10. We use this every single day of our life because this is what our number system goes by. The technical term for base numbers is decimal or denaric. Let's go all the way back to our kindergarten years when we were learning our place values. The ones place value, tens place value, hundred place value, and thousands place value. This was base tens, even though we didn't realize it. So just a quick summary of the place values is the largest digit you can have in any column is 1 less than the number of the next place value. So this is just saying the ones place value has 1 through 9, and then it moves to the tens place value. Tens have 10 through 99, and then it moves to the hundreds, and so on and so forth. So in this group of numbers down here, we see that in 10 we have 0 single numbers, and then 1 group of tens. In the number 23, we see that we have 3 single ones and 2 groups of 10. And then in the number 205, we see that we have 5 single ones, 0 groups of 10, and 2 groups of... Even though it is most popular to count using base tens, there are many other ways to count. Therefore, there are also many other bases. Here are a few examples of other bases. 21, uno vigesimal, or uno bigesmal. 30, trigesmal, or triogesmal. 6, centenary, or hexamal. 2, binary. 8, octal. 16, hexadecimal or sexadecimal. These last 3, 2, 8, and 16, are the most common used bases besides. As I have just said, there are many, many bases. However, base tens are the most common and the ones people use the most. So what happens when we have a number 1,345, for example, base 8, and we want to know what it is base 10? I'm going to show you how to convert base 8s to base. Now that we are no longer working with base 10s, we can no longer use the base 10 place values. Instead, we must use base 8 place values. To get base 8 place values, multiply by 8 each time. Here's an example. 1, 8, 64, and 512 are the first 4 place values. So 1 times 8, 8 times 8, 64 times 8. The second step, take each place value and multiply it by the number in that place value. The third and final step, add them all together. This will get you the equivalent base 10. Let's try an example. Let's say we have the number 1,258, base 8, and we want to convert it to base 10. So the first step would be to find the place values. So we're supposed to multiply by 8 each time to get each place value. However, for this problem, we already have the place values needed, so we can just skip to step 2. For step 2, we are to take each place value and multiply it by the number in that place value. So we would take 8 times 1, 5 times 8, 2 times 64, and 1 times 512. The third and final step is to add them all together. So we would add 8 plus 40 plus 128 plus 512, and we would get 688. This means that the answer is 688 base 10. 688 base 10 equals 1,258 base 8. So here's another example. So we're going to take the number 25,472 base 8 and convert it to base 10. So the first step is to find the place values, like we did before. For this one, we have the first 4 place values, but we are missing the last one. So we multiply 512 times 8 to get 4,096. The second step is to take each place value and multiply it by the number in that place value. So we do the same thing as we did before. 2 times 1, 7 times 8, 4 times 64, 5 times 512, and 2 times 4,096. The last step is to add them all together. So when we add all of those numbers up, we get 11,066 base 10. 11,066 base 10 is equivalent to 25,472 base. The information I have just shown you is not what base numbers are usually thought of as. Base numbers are usually thought of as a base number with an exponent. The exponent tells you how many times to multiply the base number by itself by. So 10 to the second power would be 10 times 10 equals 100. 2 to the fourth power is saying multiply 2 by itself 4 times, which is 16. And 7 to the seventh power is saying to multiply 7 by itself 7 times, which is 823,543. So how do we apply base numbers to our everyday life? Well, we can use base numbers when we're measuring, with the computer, and in school. When we're measuring, we always say 12 feet by 12 feet, or 3 feet by 6 feet. But when you have an example like 12 feet by 12 feet, you can just write it 12 feet to the second power. We also use this in the computer, because we always say gigabytes or megabytes. Giga means 10 to the 9th, and mega means 10 to the 6th. And also in everyday school. We use this in problems in school and also in PEMDAS. So the school was just for fun, but we do use it. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching.